All right, welcome back to the Handy Homestead, part 2 of making a new food plot. Well, it's pretty much done. I'll have to come in here eventually with a mower whenever I get my mower deck on, mow some of this little brush down. But for now, I'm done with it. I finished cutting that big tree that was right there. It's cut in pieces right there and pushed out of the way. I've trimmed this one all up. Well, those two, trimmed them all the way up. That way they can get some more sunlight in here. Summertime, the sun's usually directly over, if not just a touch south of where this food plot is. So it should get plenty of sun. But this is it. I finished up cutting everything this morning. Got the tire fixed on the tractor this morning, brought it back here. Got all that pushed out of the way, cleared up. Just where the ground is damp and wet, the tires tore up a lot of dirt in here. I didn't bother spraying it with nothing. I'm not a huge fan of that anyway, but sometimes I do go get, it's like a 35% acidic vinegar, and it'll kill whatever it touches. It burns the leaves on anything green. It'll turn it brown and kill it. And there's really nothing growing out here yet for me to do that with. So I left that alone, and I brought back where I'd raised the pigs in a little pen over the winter. I went and got 7 loads of wood chips I'd had in there with them. And wood chips are usually, new ones that haven't had anything done to them. They're usually kind of bright. Like that white spot out there. That's chainsaw wood chips from this morning. But these are wood chips that the piglets have had their way with all winter and spring. And they have put nutrients in them, and these have absorbed nutrients. You can see there's a kernel of corn right there even. So my hope is that instead of having to fertilize this, all the wood chips with the added nutrients, it'll fertilize it. I will be bringing back a bag of lime, some powdered lime I have at the house, and spreading it out where these were all pines. Pines are supposedly make the soil acidic. I don't know how true it is, but I suspect that's the case. And then the pH of wooded ground is always low anyway, so I'll put some lime on it. We're here in about a week. We're supposed to get some rain. I'll put it on it right before rain, and it'll soak in. And then I went ahead and planted 5 pounds of mixed clover seeds on here. I'll find a spot. You can see them. That red and white seed down there, I think it's white clover and red clover. I went into a local farm and garden store, like a little mom and pop shop, where I buy my seeds at for food plots, and they hooked me up. I think it was like $25 for 5 pounds. I like doing that. I have better luck with that type of seed than I do going and buying a bag of it from Walmart or Tractor Supply. So this is what it looks like. Only thing left to do now is lime it and shoot a deer off of it. There's at least been a buck back here at some time in the past 6 months. But if you're doing this and you don't have the tractor, you just got your chainsaw, and you don't have the wood chips as a fertilizer mulch combo, what you could do is, and I've done this in the past, what you could do is put out a winter rye seed, and it's not like a grass style. It's a grain. It'll grow up. I've had it grow 6 foot tall, and it'll have a big seed head on the top of it, probably like that. And there, you plant that in the spring, and around July, all 6 foot of it will turn brown. And you can go through and you can scatter whatever seed you want. Being July, you could do clover, you could do something like brassicas, turnips, radishes, things like that. You could put that in there, and then all you have to do is roll something over top of it. If you got a mower, you can go in and mow over top of it. What I always do with that tractor, it's got a front end loader. I put that loader down, and then I just go in over top of it with the tip of the loader sticking up, but the bottom of it all the way down to the ground, and it'll go through and it'll break the stem on all that. And basically what that does is creates a layer over top of that seed. So it's protecting it from the sun, but it's getting it in contact with the soil too, to where there's a moisture barrier over top of the seed, and that seed will get the moisture and it'll spring up through that. Really, it's just like you see a lot of right-of-ways whenever electric companies and utility companies have went through and they've made just an absolute mess. They'll go through and they'll reseed it, and then they'll bring in a machine and they'll feed hay bales through that machine, and it'll just spread all the hay over top of it. And that's all that's doing too. You could do that here, but if, I don't know, this would take 5 or 6 hay bales to do this. Those are $7 a piece, so this is cheaper for me to do it this way. Really, it'd be cheaper for you to buy a 50-pound bag of rye seed too versus hay. In my area, that mom and pop shop, they'll order me a 50-pound bag for $25 of winter rye. So it's cheaper for me to even do winter rye than it is to do hay. But you work with what you got. So far, I've got $25 in this. So if I can kill a deer off of it and get 50 pounds of meat out of that deer, we're assuming it's just a small doe, 50 pounds of meat out of that deer for $25, I got 50 cents a pound in it. And rye, it'll come back year after year after year. So we'll show you this. In all this that I cut, it's about 25 yards long, 25 yards wide. I found one maple tree. That's it, that one little maple. You can actually look, I left it standing, but you can look, it's got some rot right there in it. So I don't know how viable of a tree that will be. If you're doing silvopasture, you're probably not going to want to leave a maple, because they are known as a shade tree. If you go to Lowe's or Home Depot or someplace this spring, look at all the trees they've got setting out. You go over and look at maples, they'll have a band around them, and it actually says shade on them because they're a shade tree. But being that I only had one of them, and it was right on the edge, I went ahead and left it. I kind of got a soft spot for maples anyway. I think they're pretty. I like the leaves. I like it a lot better than that, which deer like this stuff, but Lord have mercy, this is not pretty to look at all. You see, we are getting some blooms here. Even though it was freezing temperatures yesterday, still it was freezing this morning, so we're going on 48 hours of it being below 32. A little bit of life, a little bit of signs of spring. So, all right, that's all I got. Hope you guys have a good spring coming up. We'll talk at you later. Bye.